Hello, this is Travis for Sliver Surfer 1. If you've been following my channel for a while, it's kind of obvious that I like vintage cameras and vintage lenses, and I love manual lenses. You know, as long as these peepers can hold out, I'll continue to be doing manual focus photography. But my eyes, I've noticed, you can see I've got some gray in my beard and in my hair, and for the longest time I've had, you know, pretty good eyesight, but I've noticed the diopter on my Sony camera creeping and creeping and creeping to stay in focus with the viewer screen on my camera. So I thought what I might do is try something that will help me out in the future when my eyes do go. And you know, even now, I do sometimes use autofocus. Like in this video, I use autofocus. I use an autofocus lens because I can't be on the, you know, your side of the camera to adjust it. The thing I'm talking about is I contacted Fotodiox. I placed an order for one of these. It's a Fotodiox Pro PRONTO Sony E-mount camera autofocus adapter. So what we have here is an adapter that attaches to your Sony, and on the other side here is the Leica M mount. And what the Leica M mount is it's from a rangefinder camera, the Leica rangefinder. Cameras fits really good on this. It allows you to have a very small adapter here. Okay, so you can put Leica M mounts, which have a very small registration distance from the sensor or film to the lens. Okay, and what that does is that allows you to get adapters like this. Okay, I got this as well from Fotodiox. It's very well built. It's the Leica M to pentax PK, so PK to Leica M mount, and it allows you to place it on here, right? Place your pentax on here, and you have a once very, very nice manual lens become a very nice autofocus lens. So let me turn this on for you. You saw that? See that? It focuses. And it's pretty quick too. You hear that noise? It's not very loud. So what it does is it allows you to autofocus your manual focus lenses on any of the Sony mirrorless cameras that have phase detect autofocus on them. So it'll work on the Sony A7ii and up, okay, and the Sony A7ii cameras and up. Anything lower than that doesn't have phase detect, so it won't work on those. I've tried it and it doesn't work. I tested this system on a couple different lens mounts that I have, Nikon. So I tested it with this one. It's the Vivitar Series 1 28mm 1.9, which is an awesome lens. And you can see I got the adapter for it. Alright. I also tested it with the M42 mount. You know, the little threads there. And I did that one with the one of my other favorite lenses in the Takimer line. I think it's really hard to say that the Super Takimers, which one's your favorite, because I have to say all of the Takimers are my favorite. They're awesome little lenses. There you go, the 24 f 3.5 Super Takimer. by Pentax. I tested another Pentax mount. It's the Tokina ATX Macro 90 2.5. It's the Bokina. It's awesome. So I tested that, and I'll show you pictures of that as well. Okay. And for weight, I got some conflicting weight restrictions looking at different websites. Some places I saw that had a weight restriction of 906 grams, which is 2 pounds. And then I saw on other sites that it was 600 grams, which is about 1.25 pounds. So the other lens that I tested was this one. It was the SMC Pentax M, 80mm to 200mm. It handled this well. What I'm going to start with is, we'll start with the big zoom lenses. The longer the focal length on this, the less effective the range is for the autofocus. So what you want to do when you're using these lenses, what I found was the most effective, is you take your lens, put it on, and set it your focal distance to infinity, okay, and then shoot from there. When you have a very long focal length, like 200, you're going to have a very poor minimum focal distance, okay? So if you're shooting 200mm, your minimum focal distance is going to be about 10 meters. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to not be able to use autofocus closer, because you can adjust it on this while you're shooting, and you'll have to adjust as you go along. If something's closer, you'll have to get the approximate focal distance, and then it follows it quite nicely. Also, in doing so, when you go to the minimum focal distance on your lens, it's the Pronto actually acts like a 4.5mm macro extension tube. So you do get the benefit from that. You'll get a shorter minimum focal distance, so you'll be able to use it'll be a close focusing. But to get more of a hands-free deal with this, you're going to set it to close to infinity. The thing that happens though is, as you go down to something like the 90mm, when you set it to infinity, your minimum focal distance is going to be about 2.5 meters. Okay, it gets better. And then when you go down to 50, your minimum focal distance is going to be about 60 or 70 centimeters. When you set it at infinity, we're talking pretty much normal ranges now. Like this, you can see the normal range on my Pentax standard 50mm is 45 centimeters. So it's only off by 20 centimeters. And once you set it to closer focus, and I can focus on something about this far away. It's focusing on my hands. So you can get it working as a macro lens. So then we go down to 28mm. Once you get down to these things, the Pronto is awesome on anything 50mm or smaller. It works perfectly. The 28mm is going to be about 20 centimeters away, which is even better than what it normally does, because it's normally 30 centimeters. So it's going to be about 20 centimeters away. And the 24mm is going to be about 18 centimeters away. You go to 17mm, you'll be about 10 centimeters away. And at 8mm lens, you'll be only 3 centimeters away is the minimum focal distance. So yeah, it has that benefit. So what are my thoughts on it? Okay, so to summarize this, it adds autofocus to pretty much every lens out there. The benefits to this, I like to use like the manual focus lenses a lot, but I also, you know, see the benefit of using it for shooting from the hip. With this setup, you are going to get the capabilities of shooting in autofocus single, autofocus continuous, and you can choose between wide, the wide range, the center range, or flexible spot. It doesn't have as many focus points as the contrast points, so it's a little bit more coverage than a DSLR has, but still it's limited compared to the contrast detection area. It's ideal for standard or wider lenses are going to be better for using on this, so it'd be great for street photography and also get-togethers and whatnot. So it's compatible with the Sony A7ii II, Sony A7R II, the A6300, the A6500, and the E9 cameras. Fotodiox offers a 2-year warranty on it as well, and you can get the adapters straight from Fotodiox for these. You can contact them to find out which ones can be used and which ones cannot. I found out that the Canon ones, the Canon FD ones, and the Canon EOS ones, I don't think they'll work because they're too wide. Best to check on that. They may improve it in the future, but I'm going to be ordering more from Fotodiox, and you can contact them for more information on that as well. I contacted their customer support, and they were good with letting me know which ones would work with it. The autofocus speed on this thing is fast. It's pretty darn quick. I think it's quicker than the Sony A7ii, and you don't have any optics in between or screens in between the camera and the lens, so you don't lose a third of a stop like you do on the A7ii. It seems to be faster than that adapter. In low light, I tested it at a very dimly lit room, and it did work. It works best at the wide and center focal points. Flexible is pretty hit and miss when it's when you're in like a dimly lit room, like one incandescent bulb in a room. It will still track accurately, but it's, you know, obviously not as good as in daylight, but it's got a better autofocus than a manual focus does anyways. You know, you're getting autofocus. Alright, so I went from a dimly lit room. I had the camera set so that it was perfectly exposed. I put the ISO automatic, and then what happened is when it was properly exposed, I turned off the automatic ISO and turned it to ISO 1600, and then I moved the camera from the properly exposed area to a progressively darker area until the autofocus would not work anymore. And it progressively gets slower as you move away, but it took 4.5 full stops before it gave out altogether. So it just wouldn't work after 4.5 stops below regular, like a perfect exposure. So yeah, it's not bad. You can't say that that's the adapter's fault, because the camera's just telling the adapter what to do. The camera basically just thinks that this adapter is a lens. Okay, so it's the camera that will not focus for you. The adapter's just doing what it's told, and that's the limitation. It can only use those phase detect points. So the adapter will not work in video. So if you plan on getting this and you want it to work in video, don't expect it to, because it doesn't work in video at all. It just hunts and hunts. It won't work. I tried it on A6000 as well. If A6000 doesn't have phase detect points, it won't work on there at all. It just hunts even in perfect daylight. So yeah, I took these out I used it for several hours. It uses more battery power than manual does, so yeah, big deal. It's doing work for you. Yeah, I'm going to show you now how it behaves through the camera with a new magic eye I've got in my arsenal here. So I have the manual focus lens on you right. This is the Sony A7ii II, and it's got a manual focus, the pentax-a f1.2, one of the lenses I tested with. Alright, so you can see I got all kinds of stuff around here. You can see my settings that I have. What I'm using right now, I'm recording the viewfinder, and you can see that it's not focusing on its own because it's just a viewfinder. I gotta press buttons to get it to do things. So I have it set at wide right now. You can see right now that the camera still detects my face. It can't do eye detect, okay, with this mode, with the face detect, but it can still detect a face in there. But it's not going to focus until I press the button. I can focus on my own by putting my face in the picture, but I'll show you how well this can focus. You see, I'm too close right now, but you know how fast it works? I'm too close for it to focus on. Here, let me get it closer. So I just focused it on my own. That's with my own hand, and you can see it's following me. It's on spot detect, okay? So it doesn't work with zone. But it works with, this is wide, okay? So you can see where those dots go. They can't, yeah, here we go. It'll detect my face in here. So as long as you keep your face within the block, it follows it. Let's put it on. I'll show you the flexible spot where the range is. So I know it's weird. Watch me do that. And you can move your flexible spot around. That's the only area you can do it. So yeah, it's more than adequate, I think. I'm gonna put this up here. Oh yeah, you can see here to reach. Yeah, so it's a pretty adequate system. It's an excellent system, actually. I'm happy with it. I'm going to keep it, and I can't wait to do some experiments with it. As you know, I've done projector lenses and other types of lenses with helicoids. This just opens up what I can do. I don't even have to put a helicoid on some of the lenses. I can just throw a projector lens inside a tube and 3D print a Leica mount that will fit it. Alright, so I just ran out of space on my other camera. We'll finish it off by saying that, yeah, it's worth it. It's a really well built adapter. The Fotodiox additional adapters, the Leica to whatever adapters are very well built. I've got no complaints. If you can get it, go buy it. There's no real risk in getting it. They have a 2-year warranty, and support seems pretty good from who I've talked to. If you can't get support, just keep trying. But I got through with the fellow right away with questions about it. So yeah, I have samples coming up. Please subscribe and like this video. I love doing reviews of stuff, so yeah, when I get to 1,000, I might do a giveaway. Do my videos like this for now on, because I like this little square. And I like all this stuff. It makes me feel like I'm driving a tank. Pew 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 pew. See if I missed it. So yes, the wide focus is the best. Center is second best. Flexible spot is the third best, but it's still good. The limitations to the focus is you can't use eye autofocus, and you can't use lock on. Okay. Another thing I've noticed is it will slowly drain your battery if you leave it on your camera. It takes several days, but it can slowly drain your camera's battery when you have it. I have you can see that I've got I keep my camera in airplane mode, so I've noticed that helps a bit. Maybe the thing's talking to it a bit. But yeah, it does drain the battery a bit. But let me know what you think of this new fangled recording setup here. I like your comments. So yeah, we've got the different things here. Oh, why do I have this? Why do I have it not on white balance? I don't normally have it not on white balance. Let's just check and see what that auto was. Did it change anything? See, you can see this is what happens when it's in record mode. See, when you're recording a video, it doesn't work. Okay, you basically just have to use it as a manual. Alright, so thanks. Please subscribe. There's my camera here. watch these videos. Okay, thanks. Have a good day.